Tune into ESG Matters with Risk Insights, where we explore ESG with impact. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ESG Matters with Risk Insights. I'm your host, Anushka Bogdanov. Today's conversation builds on two recent pieces I published: From Apartheid to ESG Leadership, Why the JSE Must Turn Symbolism into Substance, and the second one on Governance in a Hard-Edged World. Together, these articles highlight a simple truth: ESG is not a slogan. It is the operating system of markets. It links governance, sustainability, and human dignity directly to economic outcomes. And in a fractured world of conflict, rising geopolitical tensions, shifting alliances, the integrity of our systems has never mattered more. Africa is not starting from scratch. Our relatively low historical emissions, advancing sustainable finance frameworks, and young, diverse workforce positions us uniquely. Unlike many industrial nations, we have not financed wars at scale. This gives Africa an undeniable Scope 3 advantage in the global transition of lower emissions that drive investment, carbon offsets, and resilience. But advantage is not destiny. To unlock this potential, we must close disclosure gaps, enforce transparency, and confront conflicts of interest head on, and take on the technical argument of our net zero position and deepening of the capital markets. South Africa's history of apartheid creates both a moral and structural precedent for inclusivity. The JSE has made diversity visible in its leadership. Yet, symbolism alone is no longer enough. Risk Insights ESG GPS data reveals a sobering reality. Nearly 30% of listed companies failed to disclose or were non-compliant with their BEE levels in 2023 and 2024. Procurement transparency remains patchy. Diversity is celebrated on paper, but disclosure gaps erode trust. Investors now demand substance, like ISSB-aligned reporting, independent assurance, and African-native ESG intelligence that transforms inclusivity into measurable impact. Boards and regulators must anticipate multipolar risks today, like energy cutoffs, disinformation campaigns, and sanction snapbacks. These are no longer hypothetical. They belong in every ESG risk register. Another recurring theme is conflict of interest. Too often, regulatory bodies, standard setters, and NGOs use their influence, sometimes through affiliated companies or individuals, to block Africa-built tools like ESG GPS unfairly. This undermines more than one company. It reduces access to capital, erodes confidence in local innovation, and forces reliance on external firms, sometimes accused of greenwashing or disconnected from Africa's realities. It takes away our strength to create change. South Africa plays an important role, but it cannot represent the continent in its entirety. Africa's 54 markets each carry unique ESG dynamics, and only by representing this diversity can we shape a future that reflects our collective reality. Conflicts in Gaza and beyond have shown us that supply chains, sanctions, and human rights are not abstract. They are financial realities. Meanwhile, we are witnessing the rise of President Xi Jinping, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and President Vladimir Putin reshaping the global south. For Africa, the lesson is clear. We must remain grounded and aligned with countries that prioritize Africa's interests and the needs of our people. This is not only about diplomacy, but also of survival, because only partnerships that are rooted in humanity will secure a just and sustainable future. Countries must prioritize being human. And yes, conflicts of interest are not only African or emerging market challenges. They are global. In the past 2 weeks, President Donald Trump once again rattled Africa, and South Africa in particular. He slapped a 30% tariff on South African sugar exports, threatening over 300,000 jobs. He also snubbed the upcoming G20 summit in Johannesburg, sending JD Vance in his place. And in a move raising eyebrows worldwide, Trump announced that the 2026 G20 will be hosted at his own golf resort in Miami, blurring the line between public duty and private profit. For Africa, these actions cut deep, undermining trade, devaluing South Africa's role in multilateral forums, and exposing the ethical cracks in global governance. So, where does this leave us? The world is multipolar, markets are contested, disclosure is under scrutiny, but Africa holds a unique advantage. And we must seize this not by slogans, but through data, substance, and integrity. ESG must be treated as a control system, not a PR campaign. In the next episode of ESG Matters with Risk Insights, I reflect on surviving a car explosion during apartheid in 1981, an experience that forever shaped my resilience and perspective. That moment of survival became a turning point, guiding my professional journey and ultimately inspiring the creation of ESG GPS, Africa's first AI-powered ESG model. Built on resilience, ESG GPS is more than technology. It is the outcome of a life shaped by adversity, faith, and purpose. And before we close, let me say this clearly: Free Palestine. May humanity be forgiven for its war crimes inflicted on our children, the elderly, and the sick. Thank you for joining me. This is ESG Matters with Risk Insights. Ciao for now.